CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories, and we begin with breaking news. A gunman opened fire at a private Christian school in Madison, Wisconsin earlier today. Police say at least 3 people are dead, including the suspect, and at least 7 others were hurt. CBS News Miami's Lilia Luciano has the latest.
Law enforcement rushed to the Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin, just before 11 a.m., responding to calls of an active shooter.
When officers arrived, they found multiple victims suffering from gunshot wounds.
Madison police say multiple people were killed in the attack. They did not fire their weapons. Among the dead, a student who police believe was the shooter.
Officers located a juvenile who they believe was responsible for this deceased in the building. Additionally, the officers began administering life-saving efforts to anyone who was wounded.
At least 5 others were hurt and taken to the hospital. Police said their injuries range from minor to life-threatening.
Today is a sad, sad day, not only for Madison, but for our entire country.
Nearly 400 students from kindergarten through 12th grade attend the non-denominational school. This was their final week of classes before the Christmas break.
It's a little shocking. You always see it on TV that it happens somewhere else, and it's very scary.
Law enforcement officials say the FBI and the ATF are assisting with the investigation. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, New York.
Always alerting, always tracking. This is Next Weather.
And taking a live look outside, keep the umbrella handy. We've been tracking passing showers and get ready for even more rain. I want to get right to Next Weather meteorologist Shane Hinton, because Shane, just in, you said we potentially could have a Next Weather alert day later this week.
That's right, Naja. Actually, not one but 2, Tuesday and Wednesday, and starting with as early as tonight, we could see some heavier rain starting to move in from the Atlantic. We've been dealing with those very scattered, spotty showers. They've been very light in nature, though, but forecast models have been trending toward heavier rainfall, which could cause some bigger impacts and maybe even some possible flooding, especially on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then as we look ahead to Thursday, we could have another round of heavy rain that moves through as a cold front slides through, and that's going to bring some changes as we head closer to your weekend. As I mentioned, today we've been seeing those scattered, very light, spotty showers moving in. Nothing severe here, probably getting the roads a little slick, so be mindful if you are driving, even not only in South Florida, but stretching all the way down to the Keys. We're seeing some of those lighter showers as well. Temperatures in the upper 70s, which is seasonable, but it is pretty humid out there. As we walk you through the next 6 hours, you'll notice that those showers will remain very scattered in nature. Temperatures slowly tapering off into the mid 70s. I do see those rain chances still remaining scattered for any evening plans, so go ahead and just grab the umbrella and keep it handy as we go throughout the next several days. Tonight, breezy conditions along with some scattered showers. Moving in from the Atlantic, we have those showers and maybe even some storms starting to bubble up for tomorrow as warm conditions continue. So we're not getting any relief from the warmth and the humidity from the showers. We'll hold on to showers and storms on Thursday, and then that cold front swings through during the day on Thursday, leaving us with cooler, drier conditions as we head toward the weekend. It'll also bring back the sunshine as well. Let's take a look at the high-resolution forecast model runs just to show you what we're talking about with this scattered activity. As we go throughout the evening, we've got those isolated to scattered showers still possible. Heading through the overnight hours, look at this. This is 3 o'clock in the morning, so while most are sleeping, you might hear some showers, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder above the roof. As you're waking up tomorrow morning, look at this. We do have some scattered activity. This could be impacting morning commutes. This could be impacting getting the kids to school. As we head through Tuesday afternoon, you can still see it's pretty scattered in fashion. The darker colors there indicating the heavier bands of rain. Flash forward all the way into Wednesday morning. We still hold on to that scattered activity. Some of it could be on the heavier side, leading to several inches of rainfall, which is where that flooding concern would be. In regard to tomorrow, you're going to wake up to temperatures in the lower to mid 70s. That's definitely warmer than average for this time of year. It's going to feel fairly sticky out there. Walking you through the day tomorrow with your hourly temperatures and rain chances. This is why we say to keep the umbrella handy. You see that 20 to 40% chance through the first half of the day, and then we hold on to that 40% chance through the evening. Temperatures struggling to make it to around 80 degrees. I think some folks could maybe make it to 81, such as Pembroke Pines, 80 in Homestead, and the upper 70s as you make your way to the Keys. How much rain could we get? Well, this is where we get that flooding concern. As you see in northern Broward County, maybe several inches, 3 to 4 inches. I don't want to place my bets on on one specific total, but I think that what's worth pointing out is that the risk is there for some isolated flooding. As we make our way for Tuesday and Wednesday, those are going to be your next alert day. So be mindful, make sure you're keeping the phone near and staying on top of the forecast with us. As we head toward the weekend, that's when the cooler air arrives. Mornings will be chillier in nature in the 50s and afternoon highs in the lower 70s for Saturday and Sunday.
Shane, thank you for those new weather developments. No bond yet for the Alexander brothers, the three wealthy Miami Beach brothers accused of raping and sex trafficking women. CBS News Miami's Steve Majiri has the report.
The attorneys for Orrin and Alone Alexander had been attempting to get them bonded out of court here in Florida, but a clerical error got in the way and has delayed it. A bond agreement was supposed to be finalized today, but the judge and the attorneys found out that the proper paperwork finalizing the bond agreement somehow didn't make it to the right people in the county jail. None of the Alexander brothers were in court today. Both of them had been granted bond initially in principle by putting up a combined $5 million bond through their father's house. The brothers, who are twins, will still be under house arrest. They have been charged in Florida with sexual battery. Prosecutors accused the brothers of raping dozens of women over a decade. And their brother, Tall Alexander, had attempted to bond out in federal court. A federal judge denied that. And the twins have also been charged with federal sex trafficking with their brother, Tall. And coming up later tonight, we'll be speaking with members of an organization that helps victims of sex trafficking. They'll be talking to us about what makes this case so unique and whether it's common or not here in South Florida. In Miami, Steve Majiri, CBS News, Miami.
2 people were killed and several others hurt in an early morning crash in Pompano Beach. Police say it all started with a wreck between 2 vehicles. The drivers were on the shoulder of the road with their hazard lights on. They were exchanging information on I-95 northbound just north of Atlantic Boulevard. And that is when investigators say the driver of a 3rd vehicle hit them. 2 women were killed. New details this afternoon on a shooting in Oakland Park overnight. A Good Samaritan dragged the victim into his apartment while he waited for rescue crews to arrive. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner reports from the apartment complex.
Not only did this neighbor get the victim inside of his apartment, but he did it while shots were still being fired. He said he's not sure what led up to the shooting, but he said whatever it is, it's not worth the aftermath that he saw. Around 1:45 Monday morning, gunshots woke up this resident who did not want to be identified.
I heard him asking for help, and that woke me out my sleep.
He opened up his front door and pulled the injured man into his unit.
I heard the first 2 gunshots, and then I thought it was done, so I'm checking to see if the person's okay. Then that's when I heard the last gunshot, but I was already outside at this point, so I'm trying to, make the person hurry up so I could get them to safety and call the police.
He said the man had been shot several times in his leg and thigh. We're not going to show the puddles of blood we saw inside of the apartment.
Police came. He was short on words. He wasn't talking that much anymore, and he was scared he wasn't going to make it.
The Broward Sheriff's Office said they transported the man to a nearby hospital for treatment. Neighbors are upset.
All human, we all have difference, but we don't have to kill one another like this. Everybody want a life to live. You know what I'm saying? This is a human, it's unbelievable.
BSO says if you have any information to please call the Broward County Crime Stoppers. You can submit a tip anonymously. In Oakland Park, Morgan Reiner, CBS News, Miami.
Happening tomorrow, some changes might be on the way for students in Broward County schools. The Broward County School Board will meet to decide a few things. On the agenda, Broward middle schools could have slightly longer school days. That's in order for all students to get a Hindu holiday off. The length of the day for middle school students would extend from 6 hours and 30 minutes to 6 hours and 40 minutes. The school board will also consider closing only 1 school instead of 6. It will also decide whether to ban religious groups from appearing on banners on school grounds. When we come back, new pressure to get to the bottom of recent drone sightings. Welcome back to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Now at 4, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are putting new pressure on federal security agencies. It is to get to the bottom of the mysterious drone sightings. CBS News Miami's Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington, D.C.
With yet another sighting Monday morning, concern is growing over the mysterious drone appearances across multiple states.
It's hovering, it's sitting right there.
In New Jersey, authorities released a heat map to help track drone sightings in real time.
This is a national public safety and security issue, right? If they aren't foreign drones, then it is a state public safety issue.
Local officials are urging the federal government to give them more control over their skies.
Right now, only parts of the Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, and Department of Defense are allowed to detect and mitigate drones.
Lawmakers are calling for immediate action to address the concern.
What the drone issue points out are kind of gaps in our agencies, gaps in our authorities, and I think Americans are finding it hard to believe. We can't figure out where these are coming from.
The FBI and Department of Homeland Security say there is no evidence of a current threat to national security or public safety.
Some of those drone sightings are, in fact, drones. Some are manned aircraft that are commonly mistaken for drones.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says the federal government has deployed additional resources and personnel to address the drone sightings. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Federal agencies say of the 5,000 tips that they've received so far, less than 100 of them have generated credible leads. President-elect Donald Trump spoke about several issues important to him at Mar-a-Lago today. Trump answered questions for more than an hour. It's his first news conference since winning the election. CBS News Miami's Christian Benavides has more details from West Palm Beach.
President-elect Donald Trump was joined by SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son, who announced plans to invest $100 billion in U.S. projects over the next 4 years.
He's doing this because he feels very optimistic about our country since the election.
The announcement kicked off a wide-ranging news conference that touched on the border wall Trump started in his first term, with the president-elect addressing President Biden's decision to sell off unused portions of the wall.
It's almost a criminal act. They know we're going to use it, and if we don't have it, we're going to have to rebuild it, and it'll cost double what it cost years ago, and that's hundreds of millions of dollars.
Trump also questioned the government's handling of the mysterious drones which have appeared in the night skies over the Northeast.
I can't imagine it's the enemy, because if it was the enemy, they'd blast it out. Even if they were late, they'd blast it. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should.
Trump was asked about Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s opposition to vaccines, his pick to lead Health and Human Services.
Bobby he's a very rational guy. I found him to be very rational. No, nothing, you're not going to lose the polio vaccine. That's not going to happen.
RFK Jr. is meeting with senators for the first time this week ahead of confirmation hearings. Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
That does it for your CBS News Miami Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami, and have a great day.